Hi, so today's video is going to be about a little DIY project that I did all by myself. And the project that I'm talking about is the balaclava ski mask. And yes, I did this all by myself. Okay, look at it. Look at the material. Yes. And it turned out very good, but I want to be very transparent and honest with you guys. And in the back, can you see? When you're supposed to put together both sides of the stitch, or I don't know, you will see what I'm talking about. There's a couple stitches that I missed, and that's why I have these big holes that I can poke my finger through them. Do you see? Yeah, there's a couple of those in the back, you see? But it's because at the end, when you're trying to make those stitches come together, that final stitch is very tight and it's very easy to miss, and that's what happened. I missed it. What can I say? I'm sorry. But to be honest, this is my first crochet project. She's a professional crocheter now, so I think it came out pretty good. I'm gonna try it on so you can see how it looks on the head, and then I'm gonna show you the step-by-step process so you can do it as well. This is the ski mask balaclava on my head. The things I would change for future projects, this is my preference. I feel like the eye area, I would do it maybe a little bit bigger, because here kind of starts to go up and it feels very exact under my eye, and I don't like that. I would love to have more space like this. You see, I will like that. It will be better. I will like it better. And the other thing is this part right here in the bottom of the balaclava. I would love if, I don't know how, but if I can make it you see how it's tight like that, because it's a little bit loose. You see, it's loose with the face. I would love it more tight. But the thing that I noticed, and if you know, please feel free to comment and let me know, this specific yarn doesn't stretch. At least the one that I bought is acrylic yarn. I don't know if it's low quality or it's just bad yarn, I don't know, but this doesn't really stretch. So it's kind of hard to make one part very tight, like here, this part of the balaclava is tight. This one is loose. So if I try to stick my head, let's say this was at the bottom, to stick my head through this part, it would be impossible because this doesn't stretch. It's just tight. So I don't know if you have a recommendation for another type of yarn that will be more stretchy. I don't know if yarn is supposed to stretch. Please let me know that. But other than that, I think it came out very good. It looks cool. This is it. This is the final result. She's a professional crocheter. In the video description, I'm gonna have the timestamps for the step-by-step so you can skip to that part. So yeah, this is it. Okay, so first, this is the material. So I will be working with this red yarn. And here I have the string of my yarn. What I will do is I will do a loop with the yarn. This is just a basic loop. You can see here how I'm doing it. I'm just pulling the working yarn through the loop that I made with the end of the yarn. I made a loop and I put my needle through that loop. Make it a little bit tight so it doesn't come off, and that's pretty much it. So once I have the loop, the original loop, I'm ready to begin with the chain. And how you do the chain is just you yarn over the needle and pull it out just like this. Yarn over the needle and pull it out. Now the number of loops that you're going to do in your chain depends on the size of your head, and I'm gonna show you the picture of the picture that I use as reference for the size. So down in the description, I will leave the link of the video that I used to make this balaclava ski mask. And this is the picture that the creator of that video showed. This is not my picture. This is a Ball of Chaos Studios picture I will leave the link of her channel in the description down below as well. But just to make sure this was her design and she was the one that made this, I'm just following her tutorial, okay? But yes, this is the picture that I use as reference. The one marked, the 21 7/8, is the one that I use for my schema. So you will have to measure your head and then decide how many chains you're going to do depending on the size of your head. Okay, so the next step will be to put together both ends of the chain to create a circle. And I'm going to do that by putting the needle through that first V of the chain that we did at the very beginning. So I will just put the needle through like this, and then grab the working chain, make a loop around the needle, and then pull it out of that original loop. Once it's out, what I did was to create a 2V chain. So I draw a loop around the needle, put it out once, and I do it a second time. I draw a loop around the needle and pull it out once again. There I lost it, but I did it again. Draw a loop around the needle and pull it out. So after that, what I will start doing is doing this knot called double crochet. And how you do that is you pull a loop around the needle, go through the chain, pull another loop, put it out of that first loop, pull another loop around the needle, put it out of those first two loops. Now you end up with 2 in the needle again. Pull another loop and pull that one out of those first 2, and you're back at 1 loop around the needle. I'm gonna show you again. You have 1 loop around the needle, you're gonna draw another loop around the needle. You go through the chain, draw out the loop. Now you're back at 3 in the needle, draw another loop, and that 4th loop you're gonna put it out of those first 2 loops, draw another loop and put it out of those first 2 loops, and you're back at 1. And this is how the knots, the double crochet knots, should look like. I'm gonna do it again. Draw a loop around the needle, go through the V of the chain. Make sure to go through the next V of the chain, because if you miss it, you're going to just make your ski mask tighter. So you go through the chain, draw the working yarn out, so you have 3 loops around your needle. You're gonna draw a 4th loop around the needle, and that 4th loop you're going to draw it out of those first 2 loops that are next to that 4th loop. You're back to 2 in the needle, draw a 3rd one, and that 3rd one you're gonna pull it out, so you're back at 1 loop around the needle. You're going to keep doing that all around the chain, so at the end you should have something like this. So now to finish this round of double crochet, we're gonna put them together and tie them up with a slip stitch. So you go through the chain, draw a loop around the needle, pull it out, and pull it out of that original loop, and now you're back at 1 loop around the needle. Now you're gonna do a double chain again, so draw a loop around the needle, pull it out, draw another loop around the needle and put it out, and you have a double chain. So after you have your double chain, what you're going to do is turn your work or flip it, and the knots that we are going to do are called front post double crochet and back post double crochet. So how you do them is you have to locate that first knot at the beginning. You're gonna go through the space next to the knot and through the other space next to the knot, grab the working yarn and pull it out. So you have 3 loops around your needle now. So once you have those 3 loops, you're gonna draw a 4th loop around the needle and pull that 4th needle through the first 2 loops. Now you're back at 2 draw a third one and pull that third one through the 2 loops. Again, we're gonna locate our knot. You see that there's the first space and next to it is the second space. So once we locate it, I'm gonna draw a loop around the needle, go through the first space, through the back of the knot, and then through the other space. Grab the working yarn. So now I have 3 loops around my needle. I'm going to draw a 4th loop around the needle, pull it through those first 2 loops. I'm back at 2. I'm gonna draw a 3rd loop around the needle and pull it out. So now I'm back at 1 loop around the needle. So I have those first 2 front post double crochet. So now I'm gonna locate the other knot. I locate the spaces next to it, and instead of going with my needle through the back of the knot like I did at the beginning, what I will do is I will go from the back of the knot. So instead of going through here, I will go through the back and to the front of the knot. So the knot is behind my needle. I'm gonna grab the working yarn, pull it out. So I have 3 loops around the needle. I'm gonna draw a 4th loop around the needle, pull it through those first 2. I'm back at 2. Draw a 3rd one, pull it through those first 2. I'm back up 1. So again, locate the knot, the double crochet, locate it, and locate the spaces next to it. Draw a loop around the needle, and I'm gonna go from the back, front of the knot, and then again to the back. Grab the working yarn, pull it through. So I'm back at 3 loops around the needle. This is the same thing. Draw a 4th one, pull it through those first 2. I'm back at 2. Draw a 3rd one, pull it through those first 2, and I'm back at 1. So then again, the same process, you're gonna locate the knot and the spaces next to it, draw a loop around the needle, go from the front behind the knot, grab the working yarn, pull it through. You have 3 loops around the needle, draw a 4th one, pull it through those first 2, draw a 3rd one, pull it through those first 2, and now you're back at 1. And the same thing, locate the knot, draw a loop around the needle, go from the front to the back, pull the working yarn. Now you have 3 loops around the needle, draw a 4th one, pull it through those first 2 loops, draw a 3rd one, and pull it through those first 2 loops, and you're back at 1. So now I'm gonna go from behind, once again, from behind the knot, and go to the front and then to the back again. So yeah, from the back, front of the knot. So my needle is at the front of the double crochet. Grab the working yarn, pull it through. I'm back at 3. Draw a 4th one, pull it through those 2. Draw a 3rd one and pull it through those first 2, and then I'm back at 1. So I'm gonna do that same process of 2 from the front and 2 from the back, all around the chain of the double crochet that I did at the beginning. And you should be able to see the pattern once you're done with the whole chain. So to tie it up, I'm going to pull it together. So I go through the chain that I did at the very beginning. Here we can see the hole. Go through it, draw a loop around the needle, pull that loop out, and then pull it out of the original loop. Pull it out of the original loop, and I'm back at 1 loop around the needle. So here I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to make a double chain, and I do that by drawing a loop around the needle, pull it out, draw a second loop around the needle, and pull it out, and now I have my double chain. I'm going to mark that. That's supposed to be with a stitching mark. Is that the name? But I didn't have one, so I just used this little clip that I had. So I'm going to turn my work and begin with the next step. So for the next step, you need to see if what is next is a front post double crochet or if it's a back post double crochet. So if you see it like sticking out, it's a front post. If you see it a little bit like a cave type of thing, is a back post. So if you have a front post, you're going to continue doing a front post so it aligns, and if it's in the back, you're going to do a back post. So it's pretty much the same process. So you're going to do front post, back post, and you're going to continue doing that in circles, and remember to flip your work at the end. For a total of 9 rows. That's what the original creator said at the beginning. So that's what I did. I did 9 rows, but I would say 9 rows. I don't know if it's because of the shape of my face and head, but 9 rows ended up being a little too tall or too long for me. So what I would recommend is to, when you're around the 6th row, measure it with your face to see if your face starts at the 6th row or maybe at the 7th row or at the 8th. It doesn't matter, but just be measuring it while you're doing it. But here you can see me counting the 9 rows. I measured that it was like almost 5 inches long, and that was too long for me. But anyway, we must continue. So now the next step, I'm going to finish it off with the slip stitch. So this is what I'm doing here. I pull it throughout the chain and I pulled it out of the original loop, and now I'm back at 1 loop again. So the next step, I'm going to draw a chain, a single chain instead of a double chain like we were doing at the beginning. I'm going to do a single chain. So that's what I did. I'm flipping my work here, and now instead of doing a double crochet, the next step will be to do a half double crochet, and instead of working with the knots from the bottom, we're gonna work with the chain that you can see at the top. So if it's hard to find for you, just locate those little V's at the top of the knots, and that's where you're going to pull your needle through. So the half double crochet knot, you locate the V and locate the space that is below that V. So this is the V, and the space is that tiny one that we see right there. I'm gonna draw a loop around my needle, go through that space, draw the working yarn out. So I have 3 loops around my needle. I'm gonna draw a 4th loop and draw it out of all the loops. So now I'm back at 1 loop around the needle. And then the same step, locate the V and the space below that V. So I'm gonna draw a loop around the needle, go through that space, draw the working yarn out. So I'm back at 3 around the needle. I'm gonna draw a 4th one and pull it through all of them. So I'm back at 1. So the same step again, locate the V and draw a loop around the needle. The space is the tiny one above. So draw a loop around the needle, go through the tiny space, draw the working yarn out. So I'm back at 3 around the needle, draw a 4th one and pull it through all of them. So I'm back at 1. Basically, I just kept repeating the same process. I kept doing the half double crochet all around the chain until I was back at my marking stitch, which is my green clip that we see right there. So yeah, I just went around until I arrived at the marking clip. So here I am right at the end of this round, and what I will do is I get rid of this mark, go through the chain that I marked, I draw the working yarn out, and again the same process, draw it out of the original loop, and now I'm back at 1. Again, I'm gonna do a single chain. I draw a loop around the needle, so I have my single chain right there. I'm going to mark it with my green clip. I'm going to turn my work or flip my work, and then keep working the same half double crochet that I just did right now. Here you can see I'm locating the space below the chain. I go through it, draw the working yarn out. I'm back at 3 around the needle, draw a 4th one and pull it out, and I'm back at 1. And then again, the same process once again. So here you're going to keep doing the same thing, and the original creator recommended that you keep doing this for 11 rows. But since at the beginning my turtleneck was a little bit too long for me, what I did is, like I said, like I was just doing the rows and measuring it with my face so it wouldn't be too long for my face, because I realized that the turtleneck was already too long for my neck, like it was already in my jawline, so I didn't want it to go too overboard with this step of the process. I didn't want to make 11 rows and then it went, like, I don't know, that it went straight to my eyebrows, so then it will be too big for my face. So here I'm done. I measured it. It's like 3 inches. So now the next step is to locate where the space of the eyes is going to be. So you want to make sure that this is centered at the very middle of the ski mask. So what I did was I measured 6 inches right in the middle of the ski mask, and then I marked them with some hair clips because I don't have a stitching mark. So again, from the back of the ski mask, what I'm going to do is just continue the half double crochet until I get to the place where I marked those the beginning of those 6 inches. So now here that I arrived at the first stitching mark of the beginning of those 6 inches, I will just finish my half double crochet in that chain. And what I will do is I will start to make a chain that is the same length of those 6 inches. So here I am doing the chain. I grab the working yarn, draw a loop around the needle, pull it through again, draw a loop around the needle, pull it through, and I just keep working that chain outside of the ski mask. Here you can see that I'm just measuring it with my eyes to see how long the chain needs to be. So I just stretch my ski mask and continue doing the chain until the chain is comfortably at the other stitching mark that I did. So right there, I think I did like maybe two more chains, 2 more knots of the chain. So because I didn't want it to be too tight. And then once I'm done with the chain, I will start working the chain back again to the ski mask. So I just go through the chain of the ski mask, grab the working yarn, pull it out. So I'm back at 3 loops around the needle, draw a 4th one and pull it out of all of the loops. So now you see, you can already see like the space for the eyes right there. And once I'm done with that, what I did was just continue doing the half double crochet until I arrived at the original stitching mark, which is the green hair clip. So once I'm here again at the original stitching mark, the green hair clip, I do the same thing. I go through the chain, grab the working yarn, pull it through the original loop. So I'm back at 1. I'm gonna do a single chain. So I did that. I flip my work, and I'm going to, I just got rid of that I forgot. And I'm going to continue doing the half double crochet like I was doing it before. Here I mark that original stitch or that original chain so I don't lose it. And then yeah, I'm just going to continue doing the half double crochet the same way. So here I turn on the light because it was getting kind of dark. But anyway, here I have arrived at the chain that I did for the space of the eyes. And what I will do is I will just treat it like the same way. I'm just going to locate the V. I'm going to go through that V of the chain right there. I will just I just wanted to make sure that it was the correct space because I don't want to like mess it up. So I just draw a loop around the needle, go through the V of that chain. Here, boom, I went through it, grab the working yarn, and back at 3, draw a 4th one and pull it out of all of them, and I'm back at 1. So it's pretty much the same process that I was doing before. I did it again. I draw a loop around the needle, locate the V of the chain, go through that V. It was kind of hard because that chain, it was kind of tight, so going through those chains was kind of difficult, but nothing like that you can't do. Like, it wasn't impossible. Anyway, I go through the chain, grab the working yarn, draw another loop around the needle, and then I'm back at 1, and then I'm continuing to do the same process. So this is how it should look like once you're done working with the top of the space for the eyes. It should look the same as the rest of the ski mask. And once you're done with that, just continue as normal, working through the original chain of the ski mask. Here I'm measuring the top of the space for the eyes of the ski mask, and it was around 2 inches. So now I'm back at the beginning green hair clip. I'm just going to tie it up with a slip stitch. So draw a loop, and then I'm going to draw it out, and I'm back at 1. And I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to do a single chain just like we were doing at the beginning. And now I'm going to mark it and then flip my work. So now what you want to do is begin to make the ski mask tight, because now this is supposed to be at the forehead, kind of the crown of your head. So what you will do is you're going to do 4 half double crochets, just like we were doing at the beginning. So here I'm at the second one. I'm gonna do the 3rd half double crochet, go through the chain, back at 3, pull it around 1, I'm back at 1. So I'm gonna do the 4th one, 3, the 4th one, and I'm back at 1. And now instead of going through the 5th space of that chain, what you're going to do is skip it and go through the 6th. So you're going to jump 1 chain. So you do 4 half double crochet, skip the 5th, and start again. So 4 skip, 4 skip, 4 skip. And that's what you're going to do for that whole round until you're back at the beginning. So here I'm doing my 3rd one. I go through the chain, back at 1. I'm going to do the 4th half double crochet now, go through the chain, and then I'm back at 1. And again, instead of going through that 5th space, I'm going to skip it and do again 1, and then continue 4 skip, 4 skip. So once you're done with that round right there, you're going to do another chain like we were doing at the beginning. I'm just making it tight right here. You're going to flip your work again, and then for this round I didn't skip anything because I did it for the previous round. We were doing 4 and skip. For this round, I'm just going to do the whole chain of half double crochet without skipping anything. So here is just the same process. So after I did the row of 1, 2, 3, 4 skip, and on top of that row I just did it normally, I'm going to finish this row, the normal row, with a slip stitch. I'm gonna do a chain, a single chain. I'm going to flip it, and now what I will do is 3. I will do 3 half double crochet and skip the 4th one. So here I'm doing the first one. Here we have 1. I'm going to mark the beginning so I don't miss it. Now I'm going to start on the second half double crochet. I draw a loop around the needle, the same process, go through the chain, draw a 3rd one, 4th one, and now I'm back at 1. And again, the same half double crochet. This is my 3rd one. So now here, instead of going through the 4th space, I'm going to skip it and go through the 5th. So I'm beginning again at 1. So again, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, skip, 1, 2, 3, skip, 1, 2, 3, skip, and then I finish that when I get to the green hair clip that I'm using as a stitching mark. So then the row on top of the one that we just did, the 1, 2, 3 skip, the row on top of that one, what I did is 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip. But I would recommend that you at this time like try the balaclava on and see, because depending on the length of your head, you know how much space you have from your eyebrows to the crown of your head, you might want to do it a little bit longer in that space, or maybe if you have a smaller head, you might want to close your balaclava. So if you want to close your balaclava, you can do the 1, 2, skip, 1, 2, skip. Or if you want to continue doing it a little bit longer, after doing the 1, 2, 3 skip, you can do a normal row. And depending on the length of your head, like I said, you can continue doing a row like that and then start to actually close the balaclava. So yeah, please just try it on and decide what are you going to do based on the length of your head. But here, what I was doing, I was closing my balaclava already because I tried it on and I just had like a little at the top of my head that was still visible. So I just wanted to close it. And here it gets a little bit complicated because the circle is so small that you might not see very clearly the chain. So you need to keep turning your work to see where are you going to put your needle through. It's not like it's something super hard to do. It's just that it's a little bit more tedious and you need to be like really looking at what you're doing. At least for me, it was a little bit more difficult. Maybe if you like, you know, if you crochet a lot, then, you know, this is like nothing. But for me, it was just a little bit difficult. So yeah, basically what I did was just keep doing those half double crochets and closing them, like skipping a space so it can close. And I just kept doing the same thing until the hole at from the circle was like very, very small. Once the hole of the circle is like closed, what I did was like, if I have my needle on the top, like at the right of the work, I just put it through the chain that was the farthest away at the left side. So I will just continue closing the circle. I know this is like a little bit hard to explain, at least for me, but you can see here what is it that I'm doing to keep closing the circle. So then once the circle is closed, I just cut the yarn, and what I did here, I'm going to do a knot so the work doesn't come out, like the crocheting itself doesn't come out. And I did like a double or triple knot, and I just kept putting it through the chain because I was kind of scared that it will come off. So this knot that I did, this was improvised. Like, this is my work. This is not the professional way. If you know the professional way, you do the professional way. Because here I'm just doing a crazy knot, okay? And then after I was done doing my crazy knot, what I did was I just hid it like in between the crocheting work. I just hid it so you wouldn't see it. And the remaining yarn, obviously I cut it because I didn't want to have that long yarn poking through the ski mask or balaclava. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I did this balaclava ski mask. Here you can see my final knot. I'm trying it so it doesn't come out. Like I said at the beginning, I will leave the link of the channel and of the video that I used as a tutorial of the original creator. In case you have any questions about anything that I did, you can go to her page and watch her video because she's the original creator, okay? I was just following her tutorial. And yes, I know it's not perfect, but I'm very proud of it, and I'm going to hopefully continue doing crochet projects. But this is all. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.